It's kind of interesting way of hunting. I mean, we're looking at beautiful country, so it's cool. Essentially, we're watching does and trying to see if bucks are joining up with them. You can assume they're in these little canyons and fingers off of this main creek drainage. The big buck we just watched this morning, he just flew over the hill chasing does. And I don't know where he went because we can't see over there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark it on X and then see if I can coordinate which direction he went. If there's a saddle leading to another drainage, or if there's a big drainage over there on this property, or whatever it may be. And just learn them as much as we can for this evening. Because right now, we are just trying to find one. He's not a shooter, but he's a good deer. He's a nice 9-point. It's just a really good 9, like 3 or 4 year old. We sat there all morning and watched those deer. We watched bucks chase does like crazy right here in the big center of this property in this canyon. And the wind was just not good. We could not approach those deer the way it was. So I'm glad we did what we did. But we went back to the house and looked at the digiscoping footage. And sure enough, one of those deer was a lot bigger than I gave him credit for. It's that big 9-point. He's got a big old long main beam on his right side and 4 points on his left. I just thought he was a younger deer. And then we saw him down at the bottom. I was like, oh man, his body looks pretty big. So I just kind of never registered it. I just kind of wrote it off as a different deer. Well, sure enough, he's like one of the target bucks on the property. And now we're going to try to do something a little aggressive, but not like bump him out of the country aggressive. And I don't know if it's going to work or not. I see a deer right now. That's a good buck. I don't know what it is. It might be that broke tooth buck. Man, he's way over there. I'll wait till he's not looking this direction. I bet he goes down right there. He might not though, he might come up and over. He's gonna come back through this drainage. I mean, the wind is in his nose, that's what he wants. That's the deer I was trying to kill, and we thought he was over there, and he's over here, so. As soon as we drop down, we're good, huh? Okay. We're about to go meet for sure. He's gonna cruise south, which is fine. The only problem is he's like between us and that deer. Son of a gun. He's gone. And that stinks. That was him, right? I mean, it looked narrow, but it was him. It looked big. He didn't have us made out. He was looking out in the valley. I thought he was keyed up. I mean, he was fighting that other buck off. I thought we were going to be able to give him that, and he just didn't do it. Last night was difficult to handle. It's not like a difficult thing in life, you know. There's much more difficult things. My granddad has dementia right now, and it's not a lot of fun seeing the man that was one of the strongest guys you knew just, you know, slowly go away. Or dealing with loss and family in general. A lot of people can relate to that, but in hunting, it's tough to have the thing that you want so close and then have it just go away. And that's kind of what happened yesterday evening. We have this property. It's a deer lease, right? People get to pay money to go just have exclusive access to a place, and it's a thing we've worked hard to get. But with that comes like a set of expectations and a reality. Expectations are bigger deer, and making it worth spending money to do something like this. The reality is, you only got one place, and if you mess it up, then you have no places. And last night I messed up about 1/3 of it. We have 3 deer on this place that are shooters. What we deemed shooters, mature bucks, older deer. And I had one of them at 35 yards, and we spooked him, which does not make you feel good. And I have a responsibility to Tyler to not mess the place up, because he's also here hunting. I told him I wanted him to pick the best thing he could think to do this morning and go do that, because I'm gonna sit back for at least today, for a lot of reasons, but for one, I just feel kind of selfish after last night, just going for it and messing it up. It's kind of a cool sunset. I bet you we get some real good colors here in a bit. Right now it's blinding me. It's the last morning of the hunt, and it's probably one of the best feeling mornings. The wind is good, the property's good, and the other night we stalked that giant 9-point right over this hill to the south of us. And the plan is to have bucks cruising this bottom, finding does, and just doing that deer cauldron thing like we saw the other morning. If we can find that, we're going to sneak in and shoot a giant. Come on. Yeah, right. There he is. He's on a doe. That's the big 9. And they're headed down this way. Let's go. He's just checking it. And he was really out in the open, so I should be able to see him if he's there. We'll go find him and shoot him. Cole, how do they do that? My neck would break in half. If he's a shooter, he's real killable. It's just a nice young 8-point. He's for sure 3. Alright, well, let's just sit right over here and watch them. Looks like she bedded. I don't see her. Right below the cedar? Man, am I really gonna walk up there and shoot this thing straight now? I think I could shoot him from there. I watched that buck all morning, and he spent all of his time in a 5-acre area. And he's bedded right now and has been in the same spot for probably 3 hours. So hopefully it's gonna be good for us. We're gonna go ahead and make a move in on him now and get him killed. A situation like this is like kind of a conundrum because you have to be confident or it'll never work. But at the same time, the odds are low. We were just talking about the odds on the way down here. And I think they're about as good as it gets for deer hunting. This buck is bedded with his back up to a bluff, and it'll be about a 30-yard shot if we can stalk to where I think we need to, and the stalk is not very hard. It's great, except for the fact that there's a doe in a weird spot that we'll have to blow wind over her head to get to him. I think we can do it. We're gonna risk it. I mean, you sit around and wait for the perfect opportunity, you're gonna eat your tag. So we're gonna go on a big stalk, big old loop around and go kill this deer. We are. That's the big bluff right there. This is the gap.
Mick. 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 Just chill out. Let's see if he'll. How did he decide to turn that way? Oh man. What made him decide to turn his head this way and look at us like that? What in the world? The grass range is 32. He was at 30, and I just could not see his body. I could see his neck down the top of his shoulder, and I could have guessed and just laid one in there, and the younger me probably would have. But instead we got to watch him run away, which was not ideal. I just can't believe that we stalked up here. We're so careful. That doe got up. I thought we were just going to get to shoot him right there when he looked at her. What was he doing? That doe saw us, which I thought could happen. But we were just going to use her as a sacrifice pretty much, which is fine. She just ran right below him and he didn't stand up or nothing. He looked at her and then let her go. And then I threw 7 rocks, maybe more. I might have threw 9 rocks. It was a lot. I started out with little, grape-sized rocks, thinking like, oh, it's a whitetail. It's gonna be sketched out. And I finally ended up throwing like rocks that are the size of a baseball but weigh 3 times as much, And I'm thinking, oh, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. And he just does this. And then finally I was trying to get a rock out from underneath this bush, and he kind of saw me move or something. I don't know. I mean, I was getting away with that angle the whole time, but it was getting to the point of like, okay, there's always a ticking clock on this kind of stuff. And this buck we were pushing that clock. Like he was gonna figure us out. Something was gonna go bad. Coyotes. That's what he usually is. And so I had to get that other rock. Well, he saw me, but didn't catch on to what he saw. And I was thinking, oh, great, he's just gonna stand up on his own here in a second. So you don't wanna get caught with that rock in your hand. So I was putting them in my pockets right here and there, here and there. And he like turned up the hill and looked that way. And I was like, oh, he's about to stand up. And then he just turned his head 180 degrees and looked at us from up the other way. And spooked. Just spooked. Didn't stand up like a bad news bear or nothing. Why is it always that way? We are not killing that buck on this trip. That is a shame. Big bucks do weird things. It's just what gets them big. And it's just pretty inexplicable when things like that can happen. And my granddad, I've talked about him before. He's the guy who taught me how to hunt along with my dad, but we were all one big group just hunting, doing all kinds of stuff, trying new things. And as I'm making these memories, he's losing his memory. And I'm realizing how important it is to think about this stuff, commit it to memory, and enjoy it. Because I wish that he could get out here and do it still. But this hunting thing's been going on for a long time. I'm glad he did it. I'm ready to go back and tell him the story of picking up rocks and doing all that. Look at that. What is that? There's a 44 mag shell up here on the side of the hill. We are 3 miles from a highway that way, 1,000,000 miles from a highway that way, in the middle of nowhere. A relic of the past. Somebody 100 years ago thought this was a cool place to sit and hunt. That's awesome. Keeping that. Who knows what that guy shot? He might have been doing unethical things. But that's wild. There's only one. It's not like somebody sat here and shot a bunch of rocks, It's like a dude sat here and hunted. I bet he had more success than I did. maybe not. Depends on your definition.